What is up guys, Jarv here, back today jumping into Destiny. In today's video, I'm going to show you which raid chests are soloable and how you can get your hands on them. There are 24 chests in total across all three classes, some offering spores of Conquest, raid loot and even raid mods. There's a lot of reasons to chase these chests down, so be sure to stick around and enjoy the video. If you do enjoy the video, be sure to leave a comment and rating down below, and remember to subscribe for more Destiny 2 content. But without further delay guys, let's jump into the video. Now, it's been quite some time here on the channel since we made a guide covering all the raid chests you can get solo. We made one 2 years ago, and a lot has changed in Destiny since then. So today we're going to cover 24 chests you can get if you're running all three characters, and these can be obtained on all three classes. Now, to help you guys out, I've added timestamps to the video description below, so if there's a specific raid that you're looking to get loot from, be sure to head there first to save yourself some time. You'll also find links to some of the wishes for the Wall of Wishes in the Last Wish raid, which we'll need for those chests later in the video. Now, alongside that, you'll also get the link to D2 checkpoints, which is what we used right here to get the checkpoint for the Nazareth checkpoint in the Root of Nightmares raid. Now, we're kicking off this video with the latest raid in the Destiny 2 franchise, and from the Nazareth checkpoint, we're going to be working our way back through the raid. We'll be able to pick up what is effectively the second chest in this raid, and chests in the Root of Nightmares can drop weapons and armor and even spores of Conquest and raid mods. Now, climbing and traversing your way back through the raid is definitely easier on a Warlock, especially with heat rises and a sword. For you Titans, catapult lift with lion rampants and a sword is where it's at. And for you Hunters, you'll need high mobility and stompies, and also an eager edge sword as well. But as long as you have those in your arsenal, then getting back through the raid shouldn't be too much of a challenge. Now, as with all these chests, I'm going to let the footage of them play out and only jump in when key information is required. So for now, enjoy the footage and I'll catch you later in the video. Now, as we reach this doorway, we'll need to back into this with a sword to load in the rest of the jump puzzle. You'll need to swing your sword as the checkpoint loads to ensure that you load in on the right side of the checkpoint. Now, to help make this more consistent, I would highly recommend lowering your frames if you're running on PC, as this will increase your chances of success and will ensure you won't have to run the entire route again. But as long as you do it successfully, this will load the rest of the jump puzzle, and it's a straight path here all the way to the chest. Now, next up, we're going to move on to the Vow of the Disciple raid, and this chest takes place at the very beginning of the raid. You just need to defeat Salvatori, which will open the main door, and jump on our Sparrow and run through what is the Preservation mission if you haven't run this raid before. Now, you effectively want to follow the route that I'm taking here, and upon the end of the route, you'll find a massive group of combatants spawning. Now, you want to take all of these out, especially the abominations, but not pick up any of the shards of darkness. This will ensure you won't get the debuff that triggers in this area, and this will allow you to freely move around and find the 3 cruxes that we need to shoot in order to open the door to access the chest. Now, as before, I'm going to let this footage play out, and I'll catch up with you at the next raid chest. Now, next up, we're going to jump into the Vault of Glass, the first reprised raid in Destiny 2. And we want to jump on our Sparrow and head to the right-hand side. We're going to be coming over to this rock, which we're going to be using to Sparrow breach the floor to get underneath the map. Now, as with the Root of Nightmares, to increase your chances of success, I would highly recommend lowering your frames and lining yourself up with this rock and this blade of grass. Now, essentially, you want to wedge yourself into this rock and you want to dodge left and dismount at the same time, which if done correctly will push you directly under the map. Now, you do need to have a sword equipped straight away to ensure you can swipe towards the rocks underneath the map, otherwise you will fall to your death. And once on these rocks, you want to navigate around that edge and underneath this section of the map. It's important to take your time as you don't have a lot of headroom and it's easy to bump your head, which will likely mean you'll have to start this all again. Now, once outside the map though, you essentially want to follow the route that I'm taking here, which is taking us inside the Vault of Glass. You'll want to navigate through this intersection and we need to load in the checkpoint once again, whilst also wiping, which will allow us to spawn back inside the map. This will allow us to navigate and traverse our way through the vault as we normally would and get our hands on the first Vault of Glass chest. Now, next up, we're going to move over to the last Wish raid that launched back in Forsaken, and we're going to be heading over to the Wall of Wishes. If you're not too sure exactly where that is, then be sure to follow the route that I'm taking here on screen, and we'll need to enter a unique code, which will spawn us at a particular checkpoint. Now, the checkpoint we're going to be loading in at is called Morgoth, which is one of the major bosses in this raid. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I have added the links to all the wishes that I'm using in the video description down below, and be sure to check out d2checkpoint.com as well, as they may have a checkpoint for this and the Shiro-Chi encounter, which we'll need for the next chest. Now, once you reach the Wall of Wishes though, you'll need to enter a particular code, so be sure to copy the one that you see here on screen or via the link down in the video description below, and by standing on the plate in the middle of this room, this will teleport you directly to the Morgoth encounter. Now, once you arrive at the Morgoth encounter, you want to place a rally flag to get all your ammo and abilities. We're going to be doing a full 180 and traversing the massive gap across this huge ravine. Now, this is easier on Warlock. You can just use Dawnblade and Icarus dash across. For you Titans, you can Thunder Crash halfway and then Titanfly for the rest. In order to Titanfly, you'll need Lion Rampants and a sword like the Root of Nightmares raid. And when you combine this with Catapult Lift, if you double tap your jump and then swipe your sword, you can effectively fly until you run out of ammo. It's a little trickier on Hunters, but thanks to Strand, we can just fly across using our super. To kick this off, you'll need to Eager Edge off the edge and then grapple as high and as far as you can. Pop your super and then turn yourself into a Hunter helicopter. You need to pace out your super and you'll get 5 or 6 uses out of this. And at the very end, you'll want to grapple once again, get in as high and as far as you can. Make sure not to switch too early to your sword though, as switching too early will cancel your grapple, meaning you won't have enough distance to make the jump. But as long as you maximize your grapple and then switch to an Eager Edge sword at the very end, this will give you enough momentum and you still have your Hunter jumps for good measure to make sure you can make the jump. All 3 jumps take roughly the same amount of time, and once you make the jump, you simply need to navigate your way to the chest to pick up your loot. Now, it is possible to go out of bounds to get to the next Last Wish raid chest, but we're going to be using a checkpoint from D2 checkpoints, or you can access it via the wishing wall, and the wish for that is down in the video description below. But once you load in at Shiro-Chi, much like at Morgoth, we're going to be doing a full 180 and navigating our way back through the raid. Now, this can easily be done on absolutely any class. You just need to follow the route that I'm taking here to get your hands on some extra Last Wish raid loot. Now, next up, we're moving on to the Garden of Salvation, and there are 2 chests we can get from this raid that launched alongside Shadowkeep. Now, as always, this can be done on any class, and you just need to follow the route that I'm taking here, which will allow us to skip the first major part of this raid. Now, as you approach this climbing section at the very top, you'll need to jump and slide, which will allow you to get through the turn back barrier. You'll only have a few seconds though, so you'll need to navigate to the very edge, and we're going to be heading over to this shadow section that we can see below us. Now, the aim here is to take ourselves out with a rocket at the same time as the checkpoint loads for the undergrowth. This will mean that our ghost will be in the undergrowth, putting us back inside the raid, meaning we can go and get the chest. Now, if you're like me and unable to do it first time, don't worry. Your spawn point will be back up in the turn back zone, meaning you can jump straight off the edge once again, giving you another chance to get back inside the map. But once you've done it successfully, you'll just need to navigate your way to the first chest and pick up some Garden of Salvation loot. Now, after picking up the first chest, we're going to navigate to the second chest. Now, if you're not too sure of the route that you need to take, be sure to follow the route that I'm taking here, and I'll catch up with you later in the video. Now, once you reach this massive wall, we'll need to traverse it. Now, the easiest way now to climb this is by rocket flying. You can use Strand to grapple any aggressive frame rocket launcher. Things like Gallahorn and Bump in the Night are great for this. It is also possible to climb this using Salvation's Grip, but if you use the rocket for your first chest, you may not have enough ammo to climb this entire wall. But as I said, it is much easier just to grapple a rocket, and this will take you all the way to the top. And once you reach the top, be sure to stand there for around 10 to 15 seconds to ensure this saves as a checkpoint. This is because the next section is quite tricky, so you want to be able to have multiple attempts at it. Now, the turn back barrier is quite low down, so you'll need to be fast to get through it. It is possible to slipstream, as you see here on the Warlock, by using an Eager Edge sword. Phoenix Dive is great for getting down quickly. Shatter Dive will allow you to do that on a Hunter, and for your Titans, Thunder Crash will help you a lot here. This is certainly the trickiest part of this chest, but once you're past this section, it's a straight run to the chest for that extra Garden of Salvation loot. As before, if you're not sure of the route to take, be sure to follow the footage that you see here on screen, and I'll catch up with you in the next raid. Now, next up, we're going to move on to the Deep Stone Crypt. Now, first, you'll need to take out some combatants to open the door to the raid. And once you work your way through on your Sparrow, you'll enter this opening section. There is a debuff called Frostbite that you'll incur. In order to remove this, you'll need to stay inside these heat domes, which will slowly decrease that debuff. So to work your way through, you'll need to go from dome to dome. So if you're not too sure of the route that you need to take, be sure to follow the route that I'm taking here, and I'll catch up with you at the end of this section. Now, when you reach the very end, there's a large group of fallen combatants and also 2 huge brigs. Now, taking these out is absolutely not required, but will definitely make things a bit easier. Now, once you've cleared out this area, we'll have the door which leads us to the next section of this raid. But if we do a full 180, there's a walkway on the left side of this ravine. We need to follow this pathway up to a cliffside, and this is where we'll get our Deep Stone Crypt raid chest. It's important to remember you are incurring Frostbite as a debuff, so you do have a limited amount of time to grab this chest and return to the heat dome with your brand new Deep Stone Crypt raid loot. So there we have it, how you get your hands on 24 raid chests entirely solo. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to check out one of the 2 videos you see here in these cards for more Destiny 2 content. And if you want to keep up to date with everything to do with Destiny 2, then be sure to hit subscribe as well. I want to jump back to the game as always, guys, and I will catch you all again very soon.